Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to EVS 2022 Warm-Up, the online technical conference preparing to EVS 4th edition. First of all, let me thank you all for coming here today. Let me introduce myself. I'm Virginia, one of our campus organizers. The topic of today's presentation is the bio-based liquid penetrant. The last minute of presentation will be the question and answer part. Please write your question in the chat box. It's now my pleasure to present Michele Cevenini, CEO of NDT Italiana. Thank you so much and have a good presentation. Michele, can you start, please?
Thank you, Virginia. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this presentation titled Bio Water-Based Liquid Penetrants for the non-destructive testing of your valves quality. We're going to go through the key innovations in safety and in better cost at the same time for your quality inspection through a better productivity of the quality inspection. Let me first introduce myself. I am Michele Cevenini. I'm the Managing Director of NDT Italiana, one of the companies with the longest experience in non-destructive testing quality control. NDT Italiana is focused on manufacturing liquid penetrants and the penetrant systems necessary to apply the penetrants. We also manufacture magnetic particles in case your valves are made of ferromagnetic material, and ultrasonic couplants, the gels used in the inspection of the inside of your valve, as well as UV lamps in case you use fluorescent penetrants or magnetics. Let's start with this presentation by presenting very shortly ourselves, NDT Italiana. We are active since 1952 in the field of quality control through non-destructive testing. We are based in Milan. This is a picture of our company. So you're welcome to come and visit us, of course, when it will be possible for everyone to travel again. We have a very large area devoted to production and goods stocking to be always very quickly in serving you, shipping you the material you need for your quality inspection. We are certified ISO 9001 quality and approved NATO. We have an internal chemical laboratory and also electronic laboratory, and we offer for free a specialized consulting at the service of our customers. This is a screenshot from our website. If you want to know more, you can visit www.ndt for non-destructive testing.it. I can summarize by telling you that we manufacture both red penetrants and fluorescent penetrants, and both bio water-based penetrants, which is the main topic of this presentation, but also traditional oil-based penetrants in spray cans. Regarding magnetic particles, we manufacture both fluorescent, dual, and black magnetic particles. We also have a very large line of ultrasonic couplants for traditional ultrasonic inspection or advanced TOF, phased array techniques, UV lamps, and much more, as you can see from this screenshot. We sell our products directly, and we serve many different industries. Here you can find a short summary. Our main focus is on the oil and gas industry, with turnkey solutions for the quality inspection of your valves. Our products are currently sold in over 100 countries, and we also use to do so a line of many distributors. You can see from this map, located mainly in Europe, Northern Africa, but also in America and Asia Pacific. Let's start with the main part of this presentation, which is about bio liquid penetrants, as anticipated. And first of all, we're going to go through the coverage of these products by the international standards. I put an extract in this slide of an American standard, which is AMS 2644, where we can read that penetrants can be water containing, and this is our case, penetrants which are both water washable but also water containing, bio. I put an extract also on the second line about the European norms, the EN ISO 3452 in this case, which shows that also developers which are water suspendable are allowed. They are called Form C. And also an industry-specific standard regarding the valve inspection, which is an API, in particular API number 20D, which refers to an inspection of the valves by penetrants either red or fluorescent, type 1 or type 2 respectively, and a water washing method, method A, and a water suspendable white developer called Form C. So after the standards coverage of these products, we see the real protagonists of this presentation, which are the red on the left in the picture, biopenetrant Elite K71B2, and on the right of the picture, the white developer called DWS2, developer water suspendable. Why are these products so important for you to consider in your quality inspection? Number one, safety advantages. They have no flammability risk. They are not even irritant for the eyes or the skin of the operator, and not polluting in any way for the environment. You will see that the safety data sheet and the label is free of any safety indication. Number two, also very important and appreciated by companies, is 0% volatile organic compounds, which means for you no expensive air treatment with active carbon filtration, and also safer product for the environment. After the safety advantages, we look at the cost advantages. Sometimes when we hear bio, we think, yeah, it's a better product, but maybe it's more expensive product. No, in this case, bioliquid penetrants are not more expensive to buy, and also you save on the cost, on the fixed cost of active carbon filtration with solvents, because they are water-based, so you emit no solvent when you spray. We will see that they use simply compressed air to spray them on the parts. Number two, as I was saying, they're economical because they're free of oil and other volatile solvents. And very important, they have the same sensitivity, sensitivity level 2, of traditional oil-based penetrants and solvent-based developers. Also, all the process parameters are the same, meaning same penetration time, same washing with water typically, same drying, and same developing time and inspection time. So very similar process, but no smell and no risk for the operator or the environment. This is the big innovation. Here we see some real defects, some cracks on these comparator blocks. These blocks are listed in the international standards. As you can see, with these products, you can see very well, very clearly indicated both the very small, the medium, and the large cracks, so the operator can do a quick inspection without the need of looking and tiring their eyes. And also the indication is very stable over time. The picture on the left is taken after a few seconds from developer application. The picture on the right after some minutes after developer application. And you can see the picture is really very similar. So there is no risk of overestimating the size of a crack and maybe throwing away a piece which by size of the crack could be still good for repair or to go further in the production process. We have the comparison here below with another product from a competitor, equivalent but not bio, oil-based, and you see clearly the difference. On the left, small cracks indicated, but after some minutes, the bleed out, meaning the penetrant coming out of the crack, is so much that you risk to overestimate the size of some crack, as well as missing the very small one on the side. So it's important to have a stable indication as shown with elite penetrants. This slide is very important because we show in just one slide all the advantages, and we summarize of the bio line. You can see our elite bio NDT products are not flammable, not irritant, not harmful for the operator, and not polluting for the environment, whereas a standard NDT competing products can be both flammable and irritant, or harmful, or have some kind of environmental hazard. And most important, our penetrants of the bio line are VOC free. So as we've seen, volatile organic compounds. Nothing to treat in the air with expensive active carbon filtration, which costs also to replace periodically, like every active carbon, to be sure I'm filtering enough the solvents in traditional penetrants. One slide in case you do a magnetic testing instead of liquid penetrants, or together with liquid penetrants on the part of your production where you use ferromagnetic materials for your valves. In this case, don't worry, there is also a biomagnetic alternative. Here on the right, you see a test block with artificial cracks, which are shown with the traditional white contrast paint in spray can, plus the black magnetic powder. You see the cracks are shown very well, but you need the two products, the white background paint and the black magnetic. And at the end of the inspection, usually you need also to remove the white contrast paint, so you need a solvent. So that's 3 products and a lot of time. On the left-hand side, whereas if you use the Elite FW1 AC bio water-based fluorescent and dual magnetic, there is no need to apply and remove the contrast paint, and the cracks, as you can see, are shown very clearly in the same way or better compared to the picture on the right, which is the same piece in the same position. So you can really compare the indication. Also, in case you use ultrasonic inspection to check internally your valve, remember that there are bio couplants of the Elite line, which are specific for ultrasonic testing, which we recommend very much because they are safe for the operator and the environment. They are much faster to apply and to remove at the end of the testing. They have a rust protection for your valves in case the material of your valve is rust sensitive. And they have, most importantly, a higher quality of the signal, up to 30% more. So no background noise when identifying defects. If you use on the right, the picture here, a non-specific couplant for ultrasonic, typically glue or grease or oil, you will get no safety data sheet or certificate of analysis showing sulfur and halogen levels. They are difficult to prepare, as you can see. They form a lot of clots. It takes time to be ready. And also it's difficult to remove because glue is made to stick, not to be easily removed after the testing. The probe and the piece are not protected, of course, from rust, and you have a much lower quality of the signal. So you need to increase the gain with higher background noise. Okay, back to bio-liquid penetrants. This slide is very important because it shows a real case study of a company that was using a large company working for the oil and gas industry. They were using spray cans, a lot of spray cans, and had environmental problems related to the volatile organic compounds. They wanted a safer inspection also for the operator, and a more economical inspection, because the spray cans they were producing costed a lot also to dispose of, and because it's a specific type of waste which costs money to dispose. So their target was to eliminate any risk for the operator or the environment, VOC, during the quality inspection. And we started working with bio red liquid penetrants and bio water suspendable developer. So in this slide, you can see it's very easy to apply. Shortly, we're going to see a video about it with a compressed spraying gun, compressed air, so totally safe. And there is no spray cans to be disposed of at the end empty. You can see also the cracks that are very clearly marked, indicated here in this close-up picture. And let me show you the video also of this inspection. Okay, so after inspection with liquid penetrants, bio, water-based, with no risks, we move to the inspection with magnetic particles, bio, in case your valves are made of ferromagnetic material. Here on the right, you see the crack made with black ink and white contrast paint, indicated clearly. But of course, as I was saying, two products, white contrast paint plus black magnetic particles. And at the end, they need to remove the white with some solvent. On the left, you see the same crack with fluorescent dual magnetic particle. So no volatile organic compounds, and also a faster inspection because you apply only one product instead of 2 or 3 products, and the inspection is much faster. There is no need to apply and remove the white contrast paint. So again, better safety, better respect for the environment, and better productivity. So lower cost for your inspection of valves. This is the last slide of the presentation. I will be happy now to take your questions and answer to them. Thank you for your attention.
Michele, here is your first question. Where are bio-liquid penetrants safer to use in the quality inspection of my valves?
Bio-liquid penetrants do not contain any dangerous ingredients for the operators doing the quality control or for the environment. There is no oil, no organic solvents, no highly volatile substances that require air treatment with expensive cabins with active carbon that needs to be bought and changed periodically. So your overall cost of quality inspection will be reduced because there is no fixed investments in liquid penetrant large cabins for air filtration with active carbons. Of course, you will need to collect still the water, but also the treatment of this will be easier, and the overall safety profile of your company will be improved because there is no more, there isn't anymore any flammable products or dangerous products for the operator or the environment to be sprayed, used anymore.
What is, Michele, the difference in the quality inspection process if I decided to try and switch to bio-liquid penetrant instead of the old type?
There is no difference at all in the application process, in the processing times, or in any other parameter. The operators will notice positively that the bioproducts do not have any smell, compared of course to the strong smell of solvents, and no risk markings on the label of the product, unlike the traditional liquid penetrants. All the parameters remain the same, as well as the sensitivity level of the testing, which is approved according to all the international standards, as we've seen, the European ISO, the American AMS, ISTM, and the product-specific standards like the API.
Michele, your next question is there any disadvantage to using bioliquid penetrants? Are they more expensive than traditional ones?
Very good question. I'm glad you asked, because bioliquid penetrants are not more expensive than traditional liquid penetrants based on oil or organic solvents. The cost is actually the same, or in some cases even lower. Some companies, we have to think, use a lot of spray cans, which are expensive to buy and to dispose of. Whereas when it's possible to use bioliquid penetrants and bio-white developer, you only have to dispose of one plastic can of 10 liters, which is recyclable, instead of a lot of empty spray cans, which cost to dispose because they are a dangerous waste. Also, the water treatment cost is reduced because now my washing water is not mixed with an oil-based penetrant, but with a water-based penetrant, so it will be easier to treat also this water. And the drying time, of course, of the white water-based developer will be longer than that of a traditional solvent-based developer, which is almost immediate, but still it'll be within very few seconds and within the normal minutes you need for the developing time of the piece anyway.
Michele, what are the next steps if I decided to try bioliquid penetrant in the quality inspection of my valve?
If you decide after this presentation to try liquid penetrants bio, you just have to send us an email to info, like information, info@ndt, non-destructive testing.it, or you can contact us through our website www.ndt.it or call us. You can ask for a free set of samples to try in your factory and for our full technical support. You will also receive a product data sheet, certificate of analysis, and safety data sheet, which your environmental health and safety person responsible will be very happy to evaluate. Many companies in the oil and gas and in general in the valves industry have already switched to bioliquid penetrants because of their advantages in the last few years. So we'll be happy to provide you with references of large customers already using it and to organize a free trial at your company production site. In case your valves are not inspected with liquid penetrants, but with magnetics particles or with ultrasonics, as we've seen through the presentation, it is also possible to check them in a environmentally friendly and more cost-effective way. So we'll be happy also to sample you this material free of charge. So just contact us and we'll give you everything you need to evaluate bioliquid penetrants in the quality testing of your valves. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Michele, for your guide presentation. The time is over.
Thank you, Virginia. Thank you, everyone, for attending. A special thanks to the Valve Campus and all the organizers. Thank you for this opportunity to contribute to improve the overall safety and productivity of the inspection quality of the valves through bioliquid penetrants. Thanks a lot.
I wish you all a very nice day. Bye-bye.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to IVS 2022 warm-up, the online technical conference preparing to IVS 4th edition. First of all, let me thank you all for coming here today. Let me introduce myself. I'm Virginia, one of Valve Campus organizer. The topic of today's presentation is API 20 series upstream supply chain management. The last minute of presentation will be the question and answer part. Please write your question in the chat box. It's now my pleasure to present Massimiliano Gamba, Oil and Gas Industrial Professional API Q1 Q2 Lead Auditor, Raster API Subcommittee. Thank you so much and have a good presentation.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Massimiliano Gamba. I'm from MP International Consultancy. Here, the content of my presentation. Supply chain definition and concept, API CSOEM and CS20, API 20 specification, common requirement between API specification, question and answer. Let's talk about supply chain. Starting from some supply chain definition taken randomly out from the web that I would like to share with you. Definition from Oxford Languages. The sequence of processes involved in the production and distribution of commodity. Definition from Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia. In commerce, a supply chain is a system of organizations, people, activities, information, and resources involved in supplying a product or service to a customer. Supply chain activity involve the transformation of natural resources, raw material, and component into finished product that is delivered to the customer. In sophisticated supply chain system, used product may be re-enter the supply chain and at any point where residual value is recyclable. Supply chain link value chains. Definition from Investopedia. A supply chain is a network between a company and its supplier to produce and distribute a specific product to the final buyer. The network includes different activities, people, entities, information, and resources. The supply chain is also represent the step it takes to get a product or service from its original state to the customer. You will understand how wide is the scope of the supply chain. Of course, you have already heard of supply chain before. Everyone talk about it. But if you stop for a moment and try to make yourself definition of supply chain, in your own words, of course, even after you having heard this definition, maybe you will realize that when we talk about supply chain, we need to circumscribe the scope in order to make the concept behind this definition. Let's try to play around words in order to finalize the generic definition of supply chain. If by game you combine the word supply chain and upstream, you discover that we can attribute a different meaning depending on how we intend to address the scope of the application. Supply chain upstream common meaning. The upstream refers to material inputs needed to production, while downstream is the opposite end where products get produced and distributed. Upstream supply chain in oil and gas industry. The upstream part is a part of value stream together with midstream and downstream and including exploration, searching crude oil and natural gas fields, underground and underwater, fields development and construction, oil and gas production, drilling, extraction and recovery. Effective supply chain in the oil and gas have main drivers, and this is represented by awareness of stakeholder, recommendation for supplier to be compliant, requirement for supply and manufacturers to be fully compliant, and some benefit as well. coming from the supply chain that could include mitigate the risk of failure of products, increase the overall level of material, products, and processes relevant to oil and gas industry, boost profitability, reduce the company overall costs. Now we will speak about the API CS OEM and SC20. The base for a concrete and sustainable development is represented by the activity of standardization of oil and gas industry that are the best practice. Then allow me to introduce you the American Petroleum Institute, CSOEM, and the Subcommittee 20. API CSOEM is a part of upstream standard committees. It is the Committee of Standardization of Oilfield Equipment and Material and supervises works of subcommittees. Each subcommittee works with a specific area of exploration and production of oilfield equipment. What does Subcommittee 20 do? API SC20 developed and maintains standards on supply chain management for critical material, products, and processes used in oil and gas, natural gas exploration and production. API SC20 is in charge to develop the supply chain management. Okay. API SC20 is upstream supply chain management, and its scope is drive development of upstream oil and gas industry supply chain. Its focus is in the implementation and harmonization specification relevant to material, products, and processes deemed critical to safety and reliability of product used in the oil and gas industry, supporting the global supply chain, allowing suppliers, manufacturers, and the end user assess the common licensing and or registrations. Objectives. The objectives of API SC20 is to institutionalize the best practice for supply review and qualification, harmonize material, products, and processes, quality level and qualification requirements, of course, establish scalable requirements to address various levels of criticality and risks. Okay, here you can see represented the wheel of virtuous development cycle of the supply chain led by the subcommittee SC20. It makes the standardization of material, products, and processes into the best practice in order to harmonize it on the written specification. Keep the cycle active by updating the specifications of material, products, and processes, following the best practice that change and evolve, harmonizing them into new edition, errata, and addenda of existing specification. Here we have the voting members that are parts of API SC20. We have operators and users, OEM and manufacturers, and general users and consultants. Applying SC20 specifications is a voluntary compliance or certification, contractual requirement, product specification recommendation, and product specification requirement. Here we have a sample of user operator specification requirement. Here is a Aramco sample of specification 04 SAM 055 that is related to material system specification for valve and chokes API specification 6A that you can see here. The casting practice should be qualified at level CSL3 foundry qualification requirement in API 20E. This is a sample how this API 20 specification enter into the operators and user specification. Here we are a sample of specification recommendation. API 6A specification for wellhead and 3 equipment in actual revision in 21st edition. You can see here hot working practice. Note API 20B and 20C provide a guidance on hot work ratios. And related to the procedure of NDE, NDE procedure shall be supported with a documented qualification record as required by the specified normative reference standard, such as API 20D. Here again, a recommendation in API 6D specification for pipeline and piping valves. You can see here on the Annex E, casting may be specified by the purchaser per API 20E at level CSL1, CSL2, CSL3, and CSL4. Open die forging may be specified by the purchaser per API 20B, FSL1, FSL2, FSL3, FSL4. Closed die forging may be specified by the purchaser as per API 20C, according to FSL1, FSL2, FSL3, as FSL4, and carbon and alloy steel bolting may be specified by the purchaser as a per API 20E at level BSL1, BSL2, or BSL3. Here again is a sample, in this case, of mandatory requirement when API 20 it become mandatory into API specification. It's API 6A. You can see here, closure bolting shall be qualified and manufactured in accordance with API 20E and 20F. Bolting specification level, BSL shall be according to specified table 15. Here you can see the words change, not as recommendation or maybe, but shall be. Okay. Closure bolting records. If BSL2 or BSL3 specified per table 15, closure bolting record should be maintained in accordance with the record requirement for API 20E and 20F as applicable. Closure bolting marking. Once again, closure bolting shall be marked in accordance to API 20E and 20F. Closure bolting records. If a BSL2 or BSL3 is specified per table 15, closure bolting record that are required by API 20E and 20F to be submitted to the purchaser shall be maintained. Here we are other sample where API asks for mandatory requirement of 20 series. Once again, API 6A specification for wellhead and 3 equipment 21st edition, where repair of casting shall conform to the requirement of API 20A CSL3, where repair shall be documented in accordance to API 20E. Test method and acceptance criteria for PSL1 and PSL2 visual examination of casting shall be performed in accordance with the procedure specified in API 20E. Production casting shall meet the requirement of API 20E and this specification. The API 20A CSL shall be in accordance to the table 19. Regarding the casting practice shall be qualified to casting specification level CSL2 foundry qualification requirement in API 20E as a minimum. For PSL2 and 3, the casting practice shall be qualified to CSL3 foundry qualification requirement in API 20A. Another sample where the API 20 specification become mandatory as API 6D SS related to specification for subsea pipeline valves. Pressure boundary bolding shall conform to the requirement of API 20E and 20F in accordance with ANSH. Alloy steel bolting shall meet the requirements specified by API 20E in accordance with the bolting specification level 2, BSL2 minimum. CRA bolting shall meet the requirement specified by API 20F in accordance with the bolting specification level 2. Here, as a general overview, a status of published API 20 specs. We have API specification 20A as a carbon steel, alloy steel, stainless steel, and nickel alloy casting used in petroleum natural gas industry. Second edition, Addendum 1 and Addendum 2. Specification API 20B, open die shaped forging for use in the petroleum and natural gas industry in the second edition. Specification 20C, closed die forging used in the petroleum and natural gas industry is in third edition. Specification 20D, qualification of non-destructive examination services for equipment used in the petroleum and gas industry, second edition. Specification API 20E, alloy and carbon steel bolting for use in petroleum and gas and natural gas industry, second edition, Addendum 1 and Addendum 2. Specification API 20F, corrosion resistant bolting for use in the petroleum and natural gas industry, second edition, includes Errata 1. Specification API 20G, wellness services for equipment used in petroleum and natural gas industry, first edition. Specification API 20H, heat treatment services, batch type for equipment used in petroleum and natural gas industry, second edition. API specification 20J, qualification of distributor of metallic material for use in the petroleum and natural gas industry, first edition, Addendum 1. Specification API 20L, qualification of polymeric seals manufacturers for use in petroleum and natural gas industry, first edition. API specification 20M, qualification for supplier of machining services for use in the petroleum and natural gas industry, first edition. Specification API 20N, heat treatment service, continuous line for equipment used in petroleum and natural gas industry, first edition. And this is a general overview of the actual API published standard already available. Here we have some under development API 20 specification. As you can see here, specification API 20P is plating and coating. Specification API 20R, subsurface electronics, and specification API 20S, additive manufacturing. That specifications are not yet published. It's under development. Okay, these are among all published and pending publishing specification. Only some of them are included in the API license program. Only for this specification, the manufacturers may apply the API license for monogram application. And that are API specification 20E for casting, 20B for die-shaped forging, specification 20C closed die forging, 20E alloy and carbon steel bolting, specification 20F corrosion resistant bolting. For this specification, API have in place a monogram program. That means facility are able to apply to get API monogram to put on their products. This is an overview in a table. In this summary scheme, you can see an overview of specification status. In blue color are the specifications object of the API license program. In white color, those not included in the API license program. And in green color, those still in development. Here you can have a general view of the API licenses related to the supply chain. The information that are here is public information and can be consulted directly in the web by anyone on the API composite list that is accessible by the website. Here you can see API 20 for bolting is the most diffused, and API 20A is a casting, the less diffused. These data are updated on April 2021. Here is a geographical distribution of active API licenses. China is the country with the most API active licenses. China is the country with the highest number of active licenses and only one with at least one active license for each specification you can see here. Probably Chinese company understand better that other the opportunity behind of this license and development. Also here data are updated on April 2021 as a get directly by API composite list. Here we are, all specification are based on specification level. You can see here is a main requirement of comparison between API specification license. We have API 20A, B, C, D, E, and F. Here are the only one, as I told you before, that are allowed to apply for an API license. The common point is that every one of these specifications asks for qualification and have a specification level. For the casting, we have specification level expressed by CSL from 1 to 4. For forging, specification level relevant to API 20B and 20C. We have also 4 level from FSL 1, forging specification level 1 to forging specification 4, both for API 20B and 20C. For API 20E, we have a bolting specification level, BSL. Here we have 3 level, BSL 1 to BSL 3, and API 20F. We have 2 level of bolting specification, so BSL 2 and BSL 3. For each standard, we have qualification ranges. For API 20E, the qualification ranges is based on the casting weight from 1 to above 4,538 kilogram in 4 different classes for each material groups from A to E. Related to forging, we have also distinction between weight class and material groups. Here we are for API 20B 3 classes of weight and 5 material groups from carbon steel to nickel-based alloy, and for 20C, again for forging specification level, we have weight ranges in 4 different classes in this standard, and for each material group we have 4 material group in this specification, from carbon alloy steel to duplex stainless steel. And API 20A, we have 3 different BSL and 9 bolting type. You can see here in the table the 9 bolting type that are related to bolting material grades that are covered in this specification. You can see here on the table. API 20F, we have 2 different BSL and 9 bolting types with 3 different material grades. For every one of these specification, manufacturing process specification is a requirement, and for some of them you need to make a sample. It's the case of API 20A with 20A with the sample casting is required. Is not required for API 20B and 20C, and is required for API 20E and 20F, the sample to get the qualification. Other difference is represented by the qualification of procurement source for starting material that are not required by API 20E and is required for 20B, C, E, and F also. Regarding the QMS, you can see here in the column the QMS is required for Foundry. For Foundry, you need to implement all the time QMS conforming to API specification Q1 or ISO 9001, and the same for API 20C, 20E, and 20F. We have a special requirement also for minimum facility requirement that meets for API 20E, 20B, and 20C. Regarding to API 20E and 20F, there is no specific minimum facility requirement, but in any case is applicable a minimum requirement for manufacturer required by API Advisory 11 as a minimum facility requirement for a manufacturer. Question and answer.
Massimiliano, what are the opportunities for the companies that would like to implement API 20 specification that are not included into the API monogram program?
This is a reply for the first question. Companies that meet the requirement will get a competitive advantage in the market, making more easy the control of supplier and supply chain for their customer. Companies that are interested in specification not covered by the API license program, of course, may implement a quality management system according to API Q1 requirements, as well as conforming again the specification they wish to satisfy, and apply for an API Q1 registration. Holding an API Q1 registration allowed the inclusion into the API composite list that is a public register that gives a great visibility in the oil and gas market. Achieve the API Q1 registration allows simplified procedure for selection, qualification, and evaluation within the supply chain.
Massimiliano, your next question is, what's the future of supply chain API specification?
In the next future, the selection and qualification of supplier as well as the supplies itself will be more and more addressed to companies that will be able to ensure compliance with the requirements of the supply chain specifications. Requests for compliance with the API 20 specification will be less recommended and increasingly will be included into other API product specification and customer specification as well. API 20 specification will become the recognized references for products and processes of interest of the main suppliers in the oil and gas industry.
Thank you, Massimiliano, for your good presentation. The time is over.
Let me thank you so much, Valve Campus, for this opportunity to share my knowledge on API supply chain. Thank you so much for your attention. Goodbye.
I wish you all a very nice day. Bye-bye.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to IVS 2022 warm-up, the online technical conference preparing to IVS 4th edition. First of all, let me thank you all for coming here today. Let me introduce myself. I'm Virginia, one of Valve Campus organizers. The topic of today's presentation is the future of standards. The last minutes of presentation will be the question and answer part. Please write your question in the chat box. It's now my pleasure to present Dr. Rabi Sardudi, expert in asset management, advisor to Deputy of Engineering, Research and Technology at Iranian Ministry of Petroleum. Thank you so much and have a good presentation. Ali Reza, can you start, please?
In the name of God, the compassionate and the merciful. Hello, good morning, everybody, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being here and welcome. Thanks also to the organizing people for giving me the opportunity to make a presentation. I am Ali Reza Asl Arabi Sardudi from Islamic Republic of Iran, and today we will talk about the future of standards in fourth industrial age. The following is a text summary entitled Future of Standards. In this article, we try to predict the evaluation and change of standardization or application of standards in the fourth industrial age, and everyone should be aware of the emergence of the phenomenon of producing a specific standard for each product, even by changing minor parameters and prepare to receive it. It is very important for the production of industrial valves because the valve industry with this capacity can remove the limitation caused by standards and behave agilely and flexibility in any field related to industrial valves. Introduction. Ever since man became informed with the quantity and properties of the objects, the desired quality of goods and services has been appropriate. As long as production was done manually and non-mechanically using traditional tools, determining the quality of work was not difficult, and understanding the quality of production and services was possible with the human five senses. But the advancement of science, technology, population growth, increasing consumption, and the need for mass production, and thus the replacement of machinery and hand tools quality measurement using the five senses is not possible without laboratories and other tools and technical capability, and as a result, standardization and the creation of organization for this purpose are now accepted in various countries around the world. Standard is an undeniable necessity in human life. The benefits of complying with the standards are ready for procedures than consumer. Ready for procedure than for customer. With the implementation of standard rules and regulations, the cost of warehousing and construction of tools and machinery are reduced. The production process became regular. The order of factory operation is balanced. Standards are now an integral part of human life and societies, replacing traditional methods with the scientific ones today. Quality is not feeling wish and advancement because it is a matter of life and death, and neglecting it will lead to the loss of customer and reduce income. The fourth industrial revolution, or Industry 4.0. The fourth industrial revolution is the continuous automation of traditional manufacturing and industrial methods using modern intelligence technology, large-scale machine-to-machine, and the Internet of Things communication to enhance automation, improve communication and self-monitoring, and produce intelligent machines that can analyze and diagnose problems without the need for human intervention. You can see this figure, technology pillars of Industry 4.0. Big data, Internet of Things, RFID technology, cognitive computing, cybersecurity, cloud computing, mobile technology, machine-to-machine, 3D planning, and robotic systems. The future of standards in Industry 4.0. It is clear to everyone that standards are the basis of engineering, manufacturing, and production in the world. From the beginning of the industrial world, manufacturers and users have been looking for a way to reach an agreement and understanding for a product. This challenge continues today in fourth industrial age, but the world is undergoing a fundamental transformation in production and services, and this will also affect standards. The influence of information technology in all pillars of the industry and the use of the latest data mining solution has forced experts to absolute the previous methods and adopt new methods. You think how many standards have been produced so far? Looking at the international standard produced so far in all subjects, it can be seen that due to the scope of application and it contains many parameters, it is not possible to prepare a list of specifications, really. In addition, special standards as a API for oil and IEC for electricity, for example, and various company standards should be considered. Standard data are big data. The result is that standard data around the world is big data, and that is a very important role in the Industrial Revolution age, or 4.0. You can see this figure technology layer of big data, data platform, data science and analytics, dashboards, and insights. Our standard data is first layer is bottom. Many parameters, many data in world this year can be accumulated. What is going to happen? By focusing on recent events and the available evidence, one can almost predict what will happen over time. With the help of developers and users, standards have grown so that life without standards is no longer possible. Life, food, clothing, transportation, energy, and more are standards. Today, it's fall without standards of human life. The growth of information technology and intelligent decision systems has proven that old methods can be discarded. New methods of marketing, production, sales, and even supply chain are evolving, agile and low cost. The cloud computing systems, large central servers, and the internet have removed all elements of management and create a new structure. New business in the standardization. Therefore, part of the production of special standard is provided by a startup and a small company in the form of services. And the leap to this will be that even with the feedback of a special standard produced, the basic standards of production and services of raw material or environment will change, and in practice, official governments or public institutes are forced to blockade and monitor this in other ways. Using a smart being to make decisions may have replaced standards, or monitoring the proper use may be a major challenge. Practical suggestions. Standard Center and Association should develop companies in their ecosystem that can do the following for basic tasks. These tasks very necessary for 4.0 industrial. 1. Companies that create and maintain standard big data. 2. Companies that produce software and applications using standard data from big data. Companies that create a standard data sales network for public using and service providing. 4. Companies that provide consulting service for communication among ecosystem stakeholders. New business ecosystem to produce a specific standard. You can see this figure. Center of this figure, international and national standard centers. Big data company, software and application company, service provide company, manufacturers and users and consulting company are these ecosystems technology pillar. Example. As an example, I need a special valve for use in my factory, which is located in an area with a dry climate with a corrosive particle in the air and a very variable ambient temperature in different seasons of year and day and night too. In addition, I have made certain changes in the fluid passing through the valves to produce a new product, such as increasing the pH, temperature, and the velocity of the fluid. I want to order construction, but the component of each valve according to a specific standards define a characteristic, and I have to use several standards to be able to request the valve from the manufacturer. In the new business, I refer to the software of the standard service company. And after registration, all the parameters necessary for the production of a valve, including the type of liquid, temperature, speed, pH, and environmental conditions such as weather, the possibility of shutdown, and maintenance and other items, we can data into this software. Dozens of parameters that may not have been in one valve before. And this software uses its big database to perform the necessary analysis and generate a specific standard for my special valve. The above items can be started through the manufacturer according to the customer order. What now? Common sense dictates that we do these things ourselves before they happen. This happens all our lives, and we get ourselves in trouble. With the guidance of startup and knowledge-based company and the software companies and the use of data centers of national standard organization and the procedures, producer and the user of the standards, including major industries such as steel, mining, oil and gas, food, medicine, and agriculture, and other servers, and integrated and made available to startups and software companies to form this new industry called special standard production. And in addition to creating new business in the economy. Practicality, production speed, to take basic steps. All the same times, government and international associated standards must to be monitor the quality of this case or this new business. The last word. Industrial Revolution 4.0 will also revolutionize the field of standards. Big data technology and artificial intelligence will make standard production fast, unique, and error-free. Stakeholders in this particular ecosystem will include standard institutions, factories, consumer, consultants, consulting firms, software developers, and big data management companies. Big data and software-based business will be created by knowledge-based and technology companies. Thank you for your attention. I am here ready to answer your questions.
Reza, what are the benefits of this work?
With the start of this new business, the speed of access of the standards will be increased, and the probability of error will be almost zero. And according to procedures governing big data and the use of artificial intelligence, it will be possible to create special standards with combined parameters to the technical and engineering disciplines to extract the parameters of construction and operation will be less and less. To this case, the cost of production and the using of standards will be lower and lower.
Reza, your second question is, what will be the task of center, association and organization preparing national and international standards?
These centers will continue to play a role in supporting and overseeing standards, but they may no longer issue or announce any standards on any subject, by simply publish charts of parameters such as materials, product, environment, and process. Because standard production is possible with new trade. In other words, the activity will decrease but will deepen. And they will also oversee the formation and activities of standards, service compliance, and related softwares.
Your next question is, as an expert, how much is this transformation possible and real?
Many activities in the world so far go beyond the subject of big data and artificial intelligence and use it. The fourth industrial revolution has to revolution the field in order to standards new business, fast construction, such as 3D printing and online services. Without accelerating this, other activities will be disturbed. I think this will happen faster than you think.
Reza, how do you predict the start and how to take steps to create this type of business?
I think standard specialists and big data specialists need to find each other in a common place. And this will not be possible unless a consulting business is established that addresses both the requirements and the way stakeholders interact in a particular ecosystem. In this case, I am ready if there is a request. I can explain my proposal in detail in the form of a workshop next time.
Thank you, Reza Gladys Ordudi, for your gorgeous presentation. The time is over.
Thank you very much for everything, and goodbye.
I wish you all a very nice day. Bye-bye.